comfortable where you are?
I'm so sorry.
It's okay, it's okay. All right, climate change, before you start, who is the audience?
Sorry?
Who is your audience?
I guess you know.
Okay. All right, hang on, let me fix this. My timer will roll as well. Okay, time can start.
Good morning, Ms. Karen and fellow classmates. My name is Elisha.
My name is David.
And my name is YuWei.
And as you would have realized, today we'll be presenting to you on the topic of climate change. But what you may not have realized is neither myself, nor David, nor YuWei are Singaporean. Why then would we, non-Singaporeans, be standing in front of you all talking about climate change? After all, Singapore is globally known as the Garden City. It is a city or country that is famous for championing issues of climate change, be it at the community, political level, or the many levels in between. However, a quick look at last year's perception survey revealed that the percentage of Singaporeans who are concerned about climate change has decreased from nearly all to only 74%, while the percentage of Singaporeans who think that climate change is the responsibility of the government has more than doubled. Ironically, despite the government's effort to promote climate change awareness among Singaporeans, Singaporeans are ironically becoming less concerned. Don't believe me? Then raise your hand if you knew that just last year, the Singapore government designated 2018 as a year of climate action. I guess not. But who could blame us? In the results-oriented society and fast-paced lifestyle of Singapore, there are so many things that demand our attention. There are so many things that are more pertinent, and there are so many things that are just driving us crazy. For example, the 2019 budget announcement drew a flurry of comments from netizens and individuals alike. Their biggest concern? Rising food prices and rising gas costs. To the practical Singaporean, issues such as this definitely demand more attention and demand more of our time. And you know what? I completely agree. But what if I told you that the rising food prices that we experience daily is a direct consequence of climate action? Let me use mee pok for an example. As the name obviously implies, a good bowl of mee pok begins with a bowl of springy yellow noodles made from the humble wheat. Unfortunately, as climate change causes alternating floods and droughts to occur in many wheat-producing regions, agricultural yields are forecasted to decrease immensely. And in Singapore, where many of our key staples such as bread, pasta, and my personal favorite prata is made from wheat, this spells doom for all of us. And this case is true for a lot of other things that are found in mee pok. Fish, which constitutes the main ingredient in fish balls, are decreasing in supply due to warming waters, altering the physiologies of fish. Additionally, current studies have also shown that intensifying hurricanes, rising sea levels, risk damaging oil rigs, pipelines, and worker safety. All this results in our food becoming more expensive and gas cost rises. If not, this will only mean what is available for us will only become more and more expensive. And in Singapore, where many of our food is imported from other countries, well, to be precise, 92% of our food is imported from other countries, climate change is indeed a big issue for us. As such, although Singapore is spared from the direct physical consequences of climate change, the same cannot be said about its food security. I'll now pass the time to David.
Thanks, Elisha. So then, what do? We're sure that everyone has a built-in response to the issue, but allows to offer a different perspective. Just as how climate change is closely linked to our food prices, our food habits are also therefore closely linked to climate change. And specifically, I'm going to walk you through environmentally conscious eating and how you can reduce your environmental impact. And to do this, I'm going to show this infographic about food and water usage. Specifically, we'll be looking at red meat, which is meat that's red or dark in color when it's cooked. Think beef and lamb. And as you can see from this infographic, it takes 15,000 liters of water to produce 1 kilo of beef. That's a lot. To put that into perspective, it would take 10 fully matured cows to use as much water as we buy from Malaysia in a day. And if that doesn't make you angry, we're sure that Mahathir is. And let's look at this infographic again. Another pattern seems to appear. Red meat takes the cake for having the highest carbon footprint, with lamb being the highest, as well as beef. So this begs the question, are we all supposed to be vegetarian for the environment? Well, not quite. Because while red meat is certainly the biggest offender, other types of meat have far less of a mark, with fish, chicken, and pork using half the amount of resources than beef and lamb. And actually, quite surprisingly, this infographic again shows that nuts actually use more water than chicken, pork, and fish. So what does this tell us? It tells us that we shouldn't be so fixated on a vegetarian-friendly label. We should rather be focused on the impacts of what type of meat we eat and what type of food we eat, and therefore the environmental impacts of them. And in light of environmental conscious eating, these are some of my suggested steps that you could take to your conscious eating. You could try alternating between dairy and soy milk. And for all the gym bros out there concerned about protein, soy milk actually has 10 grams of protein, which is 1 gram more than dairy. And again, I implore you to cut down on your red meat consumption, so put beef and lamb to a minimum. Instead, you can have chicken, pork, seafood, or even vegetarian food if you're feeling adventurous. And let's apply that in a situation in McDonald's. So you go to McDonald's and you look at the menu. What do you order? Do you order a Big Mac? Well, no. You should order McSpicy, or you could try a fillet of fish. And these are far more sustainable options because remember, chicken and fish use half the resources than beef, as well as they'll save your wallet. And if there's anything I want you to take away from this, is that, again, we shouldn't be so fixated on cutting down meat completely for a vegetarian-friendly diet. Rather, we should think about and be mindful of what type of food we eat and the impacts of them. Because cutting down on red meat once in a while for far more sustainable meat is more worthwhile than going vegetarian for a month and then relapsing into eating copious amounts of meat. And now YuWei will share a bit more about food waste.
Thank you, David. Besides eating consciously, another way to reduce our impact is through food waste. Singaporeans love food. Ironically, food is one of the 5 largest sources of waste in Singapore. In 2017 alone, Singapore generated 810 million kilograms of food waste. That's equivalent to 55,000 double-decker buses, or throwing 2 bowls of food per person every single day. Most surprisingly, only 16% can be recycled. The rest rots in landfills and produce greenhouse gases, which consist of carbon dioxide and methane. We all know that carbon dioxide can absorb heat in the atmosphere, but do you know that methane can trap 100 times more energy than carbon dioxide? We see excess amount of greenhouse gases generated. Global warming and climate change will become severer. Besides, wasting food represents a great waste of fresh water and groundwater resources as well. Wasted foods in landfills will contaminate the groundwater through the process of decomposition. Besides, let's go back to this figure again. Throwing away 1 kilogram of beef also means you are wasting 15,000 liters of water. Let's imagine running a tap in 1 minute will use 10 liters of water. You'd have to continuously run the tap for 25 hours to use up 15,000 liters. Being aware of all this, here are some questions you may ask yourself. Have you ever not finished your plate? Have you thrown food just because it was expired? Would you want to reduce your food wastage? The simplest way is to prevent and reduce it at source. Check what you have and make a shopping list before going to a supermarket. Buy only what you need and avoid purchases on impulse, especially during promotions. After purchase, check the expiry date and the storage information of your food before storing it and put the fastest expired item in front. Now let's talk about the expiry date more. Do you know the difference between best before and expiry date or used by? Food is no longer safe to eat after its expiry date, but it is still safe to eat for some time beyond its best before date. Just its appearance and texture are more likely not as good as before the date. When eating out, order only what you can finish. Ask for smaller portion if you intend to eat less, and say no to side dishes you don't eat. You can save your money while reducing food waste. At the same time, greenhouse gases emissions can be reduced, and energy and resources will be conserved. Always remember, waste less and save more.
As such, we hope that our presentation does not just become a statistic or another fun fact to remember, because climate change is here and climate change is happening now.
As Singapore reflects on its bicentennial year, let us reflect on a quote by founding father Lee Kuan Yew.
We have built, we have progressed, but there is no hallmark of success more distinctive and more meaningful than achieving our position as the cleanest and greenest city in South Asia. That's all for our presentation.
Thank you.
If there's any questions,
Any questions?
Okay, we can start the questions.
As an NUS student, how can I apply the section on conscious eating?
Yeah, so that's a great question. You could, as I've mentioned in my section before, you could try cutting down on red meat for more sustainable stuff like chicken and fish. So then if you apply that, say, in your mala consumption, right, you could, instead of ordering 4 servings of beef, you could go to 2. Or if you typically order a steak in the Western stall, in the deck or in PGPR, you could try the chicken chop. Because, like, as I said also, it's cheaper, right? And in PGPR, the Western stall actually sells it for $7 for a steak, but $5 for chicken chop. So you're also doing your wallet a favor. And this can also be extended to drinks. So instead of ordering dairy latte, you could order a soy latte. Yeah, so that's some of the steps you can take.
Yes.
Elisha, I find it interesting that you actually mentioned climate change is linked to our food prices. But what if rising food cost isn't an issue for some people? Does it mean it's not relevant to them in Singapore?
Thank you, Raymond, for the question. To reiterate, you asked if food prices is not the issue that I face. If you're fortunate enough to have no such worries, then good for you. But there are also other issues that that do affect you economically. For example, like rising land prices, because as sea level rise, land becomes more expensive. And we all know how land is very scarce. But even if that is not really a concern for you, there are also other issues. For example, the global spread of diseases are perpetuating faster due to warmer climates, which allow diseases to spread faster, and also and other issues, for example, like wars between war-torn countries. So if you're a Singaporean with a global mindset, these issues may be potentially very concerning to you, as it was for me personally when I found out about it. Thank you.
Why do you think Singaporeans are becoming less concerned with climate change?
Are you asking me? Yeah. So, thank you again. As mentioned before, there are definitely a lot of things that are very take up a lot of our time. Partly also, besides that, I think one of the reasons why is we are just very saturated and quite bored with information such as this. So actually, one key thing about this is because you're constantly so bombarded. Every time like a news title pops up, you're just like, it's just one of those, and you never take the step to read it. Yeah, so our media does play a role, should play a role in how much information should regulate and when to broadcast certain news about climate change, depending on how the dynamics of the people are.
Any other questions or anyone wants to add on anything?
You mentioned that you're all non-Singaporean, right? So do you think there are any models that we can learn from your home countries that we can do in Singapore to help with climate change?